The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNCNow.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community that sees all things new. I am Nato Agbayani and I'm streaming live from Quezon City. Good evening, everyone. You're watching the hashtag Para sa Bayan. Welcome back to hashtag Para sa Bayan. Tonight's episode is Affirmative Personal Branding using influence to make a difference. Of course, with Toni Miranda tonight. So let's welcome, of course, first of all, our co-host, si Arizza. Arizza Nocum. Yeah. All right. So, okay, we'd like to bring in, of course, Arizza, and also I'd like to introduce to you Toni Miranda. She's a top global female motivational speaker and coach. And since establishing Radiance Image Consultancy in 2017, she has helped many entrepreneurs, professionals, and corporate executives with their development. Furthermore, Toni has become one of the top learning partners of local and international associations and corporations for leadership topics. Thus, over the years, Toni has gained credibility as a leadership expert and an authentic, Christ-centered motivational speaker and coach. Because of all these, she has become one of the known as the radiant influencer. So, okay, all right. So let's bring in our special guest. No other than Toni Miranda. Then later, our co-host, si Arizza, will be joining us also. So,
Yeah, good evening, Nato. Good evening sa ating mga viewers and to all those who are watching at the comfort of their home. I'm happy to be here.
yeah, good evening. So,
Good
I
evening.
was
Yeah.
I was hoping well, sabi ko, Toni Miranda, ano kayang mga questions natin?
Oo nga. Sige
So,
lang, let it flow.
well, first of all, siguro, usually how we started here on hashtag Para sa Bayan is we really ask you like, kasi everybody's on a journey. Ay, welcome back, Arizza, of course.
Hello, hello again.
Arizza Nocum. So, we'll ask questions straight right away, Arizza, to Toni. Toni, siguro we'll ask you, the usual question we ask is, how did you come by dito sa journey mo as how do you call it, motivational, inspirational speaker, or a leadership speaker? How did it all start? Yeah, please tell us.
All right. So, it's the common question also kaya sabi ko i-establish ko na yung clarity na yung clear way of relaying it kasi mahaba. Well, I used to be a banker for how many years? So that is my experience on the corporate side. And afterwards, I resigned to try naman the entrepreneurship. And it ran for maybe 12, 13 years. And there's life transformation. I've encountered the Lord. And, it's another story kasi medyo mahaba yan. And part of the change in that encounter with Jesus is to be selfless. I have to let go of some things, the sinful ways that I used to know that or that I got comfortable with, I have to let go. And kasama na rin doon yung ibang mga negosyo na pina I, I can say hindi naman pinatanggal, but it was removed to me to mold me. And because of that breakthrough, I got invited to different churches to talk about that story. And in fact, na-feature pa siya sa 700 Club for that 10-minute segment. And also last year, it was shown in a movie sa Holy Week. Holy Week. Bali si Lara Kigaman yung lumabas as Toni.
Wow.
So, yeah. Then after that, I have to for me it's less than or lower than a rock bottom experience. I think that time I've lost my identity as how I got used to being the famous Tony and in the corporate and also the famous Tony. Yung ako lang ang nag-build, not really how the Lord designed me to be pagdating naman sa entrepreneurship journey. But this time, it's the Tony that is yung totally wala. When I say wala is um, that I am no one kasi I have to start from zero. So my husband said, remember when you were still in the corporate world, you were doing training. Then at the same time, of course, in my own businesses, I had 18 Nato and Arizza ang dami, no? So paano ko na-handle that
Wow.
time? It's because of a very strong ambition. So I decided now na how can I build a brand out of a totally zero, yung parang kumbaga sa ano from scratch kasi nawala yung identity ko. I felt I've lost my identity when I lost my business. So I went to Singapore to study uh, to, to study a course or profession that I think is not known to the Philippines, which is image consulting. Kasi ang alam ko lang yung mga stylist, but I didn't know
Yeah,
that there's a
before.
'di ba, hindi ko alam na
Yes, yes.
merong profession, ano ba yung may negosyo ba pagbalik sa Pilipinas. But in
Mm.
reality, I was trying to find myself. I thought that time my only goal was to to build confidence again because um, it's a process that the Lord is teaching me that it's not me but Him. Pero hindi naman siya overnight natututunan. It's really a journey. So pagdating do'n, ang supposedly alam ko is magiging consultant ako kasi image, eh. But how can I be an effective image consultant if I'm not willing to share a story of transformation? Kasi ang result na ginagawa namin sa mga tao or the help that we extend to people, both male and female, professionals or non-professional, is building confidence out of creating that image and brand. I just don't feel na authentic kapag puro tuko sa yung puro theories lang. I know that it will be more powerful if I will be sharing with them a story that whatever I'm teaching you, it's possible. So I began to pray, no, Lord, i-expose ko na ba? I-expose ko na ba? Because um, it's between my pride not to expose it, to protect the reputation, or to see the angle of sharing it as not my story anymore, but the story of the Lord. So nung nagbabago na yung perspective, I'm beginning to really love this image consulting profession because hindi na siya mababaw na angle. When I went there, mababaw pa na, sige, I'll teach you how to dress up. I'll teach you how to, the proper etiquette, the body language, and that's it. But this time, I'll help you find the authentic you, gain clarity on everything about how you were designed by the Lord, and then eventually love your story, no matter how good or ugly, because That's our uniqueness. We may be the same, maybe teacher, the same doctor, but what makes us unique is our story. Kaya napunta ako Nato and Arizza sa branding because that is the market term for how you are being remembered uniquely. It's your brand. And then pagdating sa Philippines, so I did that. No, I did image consulting. I tried training, and we call it personality development in the corporate world, right? Ano pa, professional development, professional
Yes.
image. Hanggang sa nakita ko na wait, this is about influence. This is
Mm-hmm.
about
Right. Right.
influence. And then it developed to what I'm doing now. I'm now beginning to show people that everyone is actually creating an influence. Everyone is a leader, but it's a choice to have the negative or positive. So how to create the positive one if you want to develop that not out of a requirement or sabi natin as a fad but out of our authentic self. Then nakita ko kailangan siya. Hinahanap siya ng mga tao. It's just that there are certain titles or labels already, like for example, leadership development program. Yan na kasi yung alam nila eh. Ano pa, how
Yes.
to create impactful selling, or we have different terms for training. So what I did, I crafted a curriculum and module that includes godly principles because we
Mm.
already have scientific principles, ano pa, um, according to expert principles,
True.
according to
True. Yes.
research, pero
Okay.
wala yung side ng balance ng spiritual side.
Okay. So, oh,
Thank you so much for that, Miss Tony. I think it's really inspirational
yeah.
how you were able to leverage your background, your story, and your faith to create a service. I think that can really help so many people. As you were talking po about your experiences and your very extensive background, I wanted to ask, how is the work with the clients po now? Can you tell us a little bit more about them and what kind of experiences they're going through po collaborating with you?
Mm. So since I was able to identify who my target audience are based on my uniqueness as a speaker, trainer, or even a life coach, these are the clients who are suffering from or struggling from clarity and confidence. So I tried to focus on that, and then we created a framework for them. It's like a 4-level footprint. So first is to gain clarity on that, and then to build the authority. Sometimes people go straight to authority. Kaya going back to your question na what are their common problems? Na pinpoint namin, we go straight to learning how to do it, but we skip the portion of who I am or who am I and why am I doing it. And that's on the part of clarity. So now they see the difference. Kaya pala minsan pag may natutunan tayo, maybe let's say as simple as how to speak in front of the camera. We learn it immediately. We go there straight without understanding why do I want to speak in front of the camera? Who am I as the speaker in front of the camera? So that's the first one, clarity, authority. Then afterwards, we also help them understand what kind of legacy do they want to leave, how they want to be remembered. So they will not give up. Kasi di ba Nato, minsan mapahiya lang tayo na, ay mali yung diction ko and ano, then they will not do it anymore. Sayang,
Yes.
sayang yung
That's right.
talent. So
Mm.
we help them begin with an end by creating a vision.
Mm-hmm.
So when things are not happening according to how they planned it, they will just try it again. Kasi nga yung vision is the one making them persevere, ano pa,
Yes.
dedicated, and not give up. So basically yon, lack of clarity, no confidence, and then minsan yun lang yung kailangan nila, but we let them really unleash their potential na you know what, maybe you are 3, 5, or 100 na pare-pareho kayong profession, but your story, your challenges, hinahanap yan ng isang same din ang ina-encounter or gina-go through. So you need to be found. Saya, yun ang lagi namin sasabi, you need to be
Right.
found because they are looking for you.
Yeah, kasi there's so many frameworks, di ba, being used across, like kami then I used to do family business consulting, and we use for families of wealth, iba rin yung mga, there's strengths finders, there's Gallup, there's so many frameworks, no? But tama yung sinasabi mo, I think it's really the uniqueness of a person, that
Yeah.
his or her life experiences that makes the big difference. Kasi um, for example, you always have that voice, but there are two voices in your head, the one that tells you how ugly you are and the one
True.
that tells you how beautiful you are. And this
Mm-mm.
is really true. I mean,
It's true.
there are days that, oh my, I'm so lazy, I'm so tired, I don't want to do this, I don't want to keep on doing this. But there are days, and there's like voices in your head say, Nato, you have to go on because people are dependent upon you, or things like that. It's true, because in I think you do motivational speaking also with Dep Ed, right?
That's my oo, 'yan yung yeah,
Oh,
speaking is my parang primary and then
yeah,
training. So, they got me for that, well, different things 'no, work ethics,
yeah,
professionalism, and in-inject ko lahat 'yan na 'to kasi you know what, yung lack of clarity with our identity will will shake us depende on the challenges that we're going through. But if you
oh,
are clear, mabilis kumbaga ipa-shut off yung sinasabi
yeah,
mong voice na
yes, yes,
that will just deceive you and destroy the day kasi you know that voice
exactly,
doesn't want you to be part of the yung grand purpose ni Lord, which is
yeah.
always beautiful. So, ang nangyari like me, wala akong clarity noon, So, kinain ako
Mhm,
nung dahil sa mga ginawa kong sabihin nating not ideal for a mom and wife. I was
mhm,
an adulterous person before, so it's something that
mhm,
will really carry the shame and guilt kasi hindi siya tanggap 'no sa society. And of course, I'm not proud of what I did before, but
mhm,
when I understood clearly and not just understood, embraced it kasi puwedeng naintindihan ko lang pero hindi ko in-embrace the
yeah,
reality that my identity is not on my past kasi nga
mhm,
may
true,
transformation na ginawa si Jesus sa akin. Sobrang clear na siya even if hindi siya
mhm,
clear sa iba na, ito yung ginawa mo before, So I will respect na yun ng opinion, but me,
oo,
I'm clear that that yes, I've done that before, but this is where I am now and this is
mhm.
where I will also go in the next days.
Yeah, maybe I'd like to ask you, of all there's so many people that ask for personal branding. They want to understand who they are, or where they stand. Ano yung most common, shall we say, um, hindrance for them to achieve that? You've talked to a lot of people, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
and
Ano
coach
yung
also a
pinaka
lot of them.
Yeah, ano yung pinaka-common na para bang, naku, Tony, hindi, wala akong pag-asa. I am this, I am like this. What's the most common, and what do you think
Yeah, so
why
we
is
have
that too
3. We
late?
have 3 common na
Yes,
puwedeng
yes.
hindrance or puwedeng excuses kasi sometimes
Mm.
hindi siya hindrance, it's
Excuses
really
to
more
live.
of
Yes.
excuses. So, number
Mm.
1 is yung not wanting to include their story. So, they wanna drop it. And that's
Mm.
critical or maybe we call it foundational to personal brand because that will now make you unique. Yung challenges na pinagdaanan natin are
Mm.
the background of your future audience. Kasi sila yung nakaka-relate. Even if
Yes.
we are so good, meron talaga we're not someone for everyone. We are someone for a specific audience. So that's one, dropping your story or not wanting to include your story. Yun ang isa sa mga
Mm.
nagpe-prevent na, hindi ba pwedeng color na lang font, 'di ba? O kaya yung hashtag ko na lang and it's shallow, no? Anyone can
Mm.
just do that but not personal. Yung hindi siya yung authentic na
Right.
brand. And hindi rin affirmative kasi it might change na yung feel mo sa color and ano, it might change. Second
Mm.
is walang vision. So that one is maybe lack of awareness that it's important. Kasi most of the time
Mm.
kapag
Mm.
nasabi ko na that vision is important, nako-confuse sila na, so hindi pa pala yan yung corporate vision ko or yung business vision. Then I tell
Yeah.
them, no, the vision is higher than all your outlets and the companies, the businesses, the sabihin nating ministry or
Mm.
NGO, whatever you're doing now are just outlets and it's not your
Mm.
brand. You should be higher than that. And third is the the lack of alignment to what the Lord is also or how the Lord has designed them. May
Yeah.
kanya-kanyang design. That's why yung mga binanggit mong tools kanina, those
Mm.
are tools that can give clarity to their strengths. Like ako naman ang tools ko kasi Nato is Reese motivation profile. So
Oh
I
yeah.
help. Yeah, so I
Singaporean,
help
di ba?
them understand. Yes, I help them understand yung value ng motivation nila. So
Yes.
hindi nila pipilitin yung certain sabihin nating function or
Mm.
activity that might give them stress kasi hindi nga yun yung motivation desire nila. So
Yes.
yan, marami namang tools. It's just that maybe we just have to trust the process that personal branding needs revisiting of the self,
Mm.
going
Mm.
deeper of how you are different from others. And then, once na makraft na yan, may clarity na. Kasi the reason why sometimes we're not confident is because it's vague, no? Malabo siya.
Yeah.
Kaya pati yung mga tanong, we have to memorize pa yung answer because it's not personal and it's not authentic.
Yeah, parang ano, no, now that you mentioned it, clarity is so important pala, no? Parang,
Yes, yes.
kasi you cannot give what you do not have. If it's not you really, how can you be authentic in saying, oh, ganito, gusto ko, ganito ako, ah. Gusto.
Yeah. And
Parang,
mapupunta siya sa ano eh, sa performance level nato, hindi siya
yeah,
helping. Kasi helping is coming from self, di ba? Sabi mo nga, we cannot
right.
give from an empty cup. But
Oh,
mangyari parang just to fulfill the need na gusto mo rin you make a difference, we
yes.
perform.
Oo.
Nakakapagod yun. Nakakapagod
Yeah.
yun nagpa-perform lang. But helping is, passion, love, lahat ng mga naituro din sa atin ni Lord, yun ang sustainable, hindi siya nakakapagod.
Parang ano kasi, like if you say for example you're a celebrity, kunyari artista ka, and then you are paired with another young artist, so ito kayo, you're supposed to
Team,
be lovers,
mm.
or ano kayo, love team, 'di ba?
Yes,
You're performing pero hindi naman, 'di ba, authentic. And then I think the
yes. Kaya
authenticity,
minsan nagbe-break,
oo, tapos parang even siguro like for fitness coaches, for ano, um I'm like this, I'm that, but I'm not. I mean, deep inside, it's not you, di ba? Parang, so you end up parang, tama ka, performing and
exhausted, yeah. Mm.
exhausted, exerting extra effort to show people that this is who you are and that's not you. Di ba?
And worse is, baka nagki-create na sila ng different persona and living a dual life is so tiring, ano pa. So, sometimes nakakaano rin, nakakalimutan natin yung original us because of
Yeah.
that. And by the way, may mga profession naman na gano'n. It's just that you know that as long as before you create a persona, we
Yes.
need to understand muna the original persona. Mabilis
Yeah.
naman like for example, being let's say a president in an association is a
Mhm.
persona.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just that the anchor, ano yung foundation niya, yun dapat yung real na may clarity.
like if you're a Rotary governor or something like that, di ba?
Persona na yun kasi may expectation, right?
Expectation,
But
tapos you perform certain responsibilities, that's really you're fully accountable for that, di ba?
same,
Yeah.
same as out their function. Let's say katulad ng sinabi mo sa family, may
Oo.
persona dahil aside from let's say a father, you're also the CEO. So CEO is the persona. The thing is, it's very important that the CEO or sabihin natin yung governor of a certain association is
Mm-mm.
clear that
Mm-mm.
their way of management or has a clarity that they are different in a sense that this is my vision. Yun na yun, doon na papasok yung
Mm-mm.
clarity of style ng leadership and ano kasi nga may ibang vision niya, iba rin yung sinasabi nating legacy na gusto niyang iwan for a certain
Right.
term, and that's very important as a brand.
Oo. Siguro ano, well, we will have a break, but I just want to really ask you about, 'di ba, if people are, kasi there are different types of personalities, no? There are, of course, paano yun? Paano mag-branding ang introverts, for example?
Yeah,
Ah,
okay.
ah,
So,
paano yan?
very interesting question yan. I love that kasi lagi rin tinatanong.
Yeah.
Well, we wanted to brand people not based on society's label. Kasi 'di ba
Yes.
label na siya eh. We
Oo.
wanted to brand us, yung tayo,
Mm.
our and the
Mm.
people around us, yung gustong pa magkaroon ng personal branding based on who they are. And again, outlet ulit siya, probably communication style yan or ano.
Mm.
But
Mm.
the brand is kung gustong natin simple is the brand is you. So ang susunod na tanong nun, then who are you, 'di ba? Who are you
Oo.
as a brand? So isa na 'yun sa mga description niya, I'm an introvert, I love cooking, I love children. So kasama lang siya sa ano, sa description. But the brand is you, like me. When you say who am I as a brand,
Mm-mm.
isa-isahin ko siya. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, at ano pa, an educator. Maski wala ako yung talagang certificate dahil di ako teacher, but my
Mm-mm.
heart is to educate. My heart is to, to teach.
Yes.
So ano pang dagdag do'n, I'm a dancer. So those are the many descriptions of me, and then
Mm-mm.
i-add natin yung story. So the introvert is not a brand, it's sabi natin the value of that person or what makes that person decide on things, but not
Yes.
really a brand.
Yeah. So ano kasi it's like well, it's hindi naman siya label. There are well, I was reading something siguro a day or two ago. So ano lang, kasi because our triggers like
Yeah.
extroverts, if we label them that, are triggered by certain stimulus, and then
Yes.
introverts as well are triggered by different sets of stimulus na maaring reading a book would stimulate their ano no their themselves, tapos pero like they don't like crowds no ganon. So um kaya I think the approach of sino ka, 'di ba? Parang who are you, and then the clarity of knowing who you are
Mm.
is kumbaga much more sustainable, sabi mo nga.
Yes,
So
mas sustainable siya. It can be, well, not it can be, it is your identity. Yun yung ano nun eh. Plus, so yung identity kasi, mas mataas siya sa develop behavior, develop preferences.
yes.
Because those may change yung mga preferences natin, ano pa, yung stimulus trigger, behavior, ano pa,
Mm.
mindset, marami yan, emotional memory. They may
Yeah.
change in time the more we understand our story, how it
Mm.
affected us, 'di ba, molded us. It
True.
changed in time, but the identity actually do not change, no, na mas nakikilala lang natin pero hindi. Ang problem lang nato or sabi natin concern, no, common concern is even the identity, different experts are teaching us different
Different
ways of.
things.
Oo, so which one now kung isipin natin sino na yung tama when it comes to, um,
Yeah.
establishing my identity, and I had that confusion na 'to before, grabeng parang nag-iinvest pa ako ta's biglang, ay iba sinabi niya, iba. Until I realized that the ultimate truth talaga comes from the Bible at hindi na talaga siya nagbago. It may not sound ano na parang ang masyado namang banal, but that banal na ni-reject ko before is the
Mm.
one helping me now not
Yeah.
give up, no, not give up, and the
Mm.
clarity is making me really radiate, no, unlike before, the identity was dependent on people,
Yeah.
dependent on how they
Yeah.
define me, yeah.
I mean, of course, ano, it's something na it's a well, kung secular world we will call it siguro it's a framework, no, but for faith, for people with faith, I suppose that's really ano no, that's really part of their entire makeup, no.
Yeah.
For some, they would maybe say, oh no, that's not in the realm of no no the secular world, but like I said, different things talaga is for different frameworks for different folks.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think you're right. Ako, I had the same issues before na sabi ko, ano bang gagawin ko, I'm at this age, but
Mm.
ito yung passion ko, I want to do this, I want to do that, but is it me? 'Di ba? And then I met a lot of people na who live dual lives as well. Parang ano, sabi ko, wow, how can they be like this at one point and be like this? Like narcissists. I mean, yung may NPD, yung narcissistic
Yes, yes.
personality
Mm.
disorder.
Eh, marami
Kasi
rin gano'n talaga, mm.
diba, ako kasi I deal with a lot of people with, well, very neurodivergent people. I have a son who's neurodivergent, he has autism. So parang iba-ibang quirks nila eh. So parang how do you understand this? Well,
True.
anyway, we will go deeper into that, Tony. We will just go right into a break. Then later, siguro you were talking earlier about affirmative personal branding, but later let's we will talk about also using influence or
Mm.
affirmative from your branding also, and from who you really are. How can you make a difference in terms of like changing people's lives, changing the lives of communities. So Toni will be right back. I hope Arizza can come back also. See you later. We'll just have a short break.
Sign up for a year and pay less than 71 pesos per month. Visit tmt.ph/digital to get your free 30 days of the Manila Times Digital Edition.
evening. This is Nato Agbayani. You're back on hashtag para sa Bayan. Please don't forget to watch all our shows here on TNC. Of course, TNC is an online alternative new media platform of online shows for people on the go. Please watch all our shows as seen on screen. Imagine having your own show, your own playlist, your own content, but we make it easier for you. TNC aims to transform the lives of our viewers through engaging, authentic, and original content. Our channel is a responsible global 24/7 platform that showcases Filipino talent, global influencers, cultural intelligence, and ingenuity. You can watch live or replay via Facebook or YouTube. Follow us on IG, listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just search hashtag TNC. For sponsorship, please email now at the new channel or send us a DM. Enjoy these life-changing shows because we made them all for you. Of course, don't forget to watch
The new channel.
every Saturday, 9 p.m. All right. Okay, so we're back. We're back here on hashtag para sa Bayan. Please welcome back our guest, of course, no other than Miss Toni Miranda. Hi, Toni. Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm back.
Yeah, I hope Arizza can come back also. So she anyway earlier she asked you that question para akong nasa newsroom ano.
Ang ganda, ang ganda.
I
Sana all
imported so I imported a new background just so that ano because it's Toni Miranda it has to ano 'di ba
be
TNC
branding. Yeah.
branding then. So anyway, we'd like to, of course, we have people watching us. Shout out, of course, kay Ma'am Cho Lita Esplana watching from Mandaluyong City. Yeah. And of course, our chairman, si Apple Esplana Manansala, is also saying hi. Good evening, Nato. Congrats to the show. Hashtag para sa bayan. And welcome back to TNC Tony. Yan.
Thank you.
Nice to have you at hashtag para sa bayan. Yun, no? Thank you, thank you. So, we'll go right into ito na yung mga sinasabi nating ano, deepening of the questions. Kasi usually, 'di ba, parang personal branding at the end of the day, you can really influence people eh. And
Yeah.
much of that ano, much of the there's so much need right now. There's so much kumbaga issues, problems, especially with identity, with mental health. And it's really shall we say dati parang you're looking for the utopian way no ano ba yung ideal conditions para sa isang bansa or sa isang bayan no but now it's really everybody the young people even us
Mm.
our age group even younger or older than us are also suffering a lot and I think it's really the world is transforming so fast, and I think COVID-19 was a challenge as well as an enabler. Sabi mo nga,
Mm.
even your own business was transformed, no?
Yeah.
Itong
Mm.
TNC was a product of course the pandemic as well. So um how do you think people can use their own personal branding to really make a difference in the world? I mean, medyo motherhood statement, pero I mean,
Mm.
your own way, sa sarili mong life, of course, you are already making a difference. But how can people
Mm.
you teach, how can it really change them? Change the
Mm.
lives of themselves and their communities?
We can use para at least makita nila doable siya, no? We can use the three I's, the inspiring self, inspiring others, and inspiring legacy.
Mm,
So we won't appreciate probably or don't they may not see themselves as that enabler or influencer
mm, mm.
dahil baka nga or wala sila pang inspiration sa sarili na
Sa sarili,
sino ba
yes.
naman ako statement yan, sino ba naman
Mm,
ako, and then we start labeling ourselves according to probably the place where we grew up, the school,
mm,
And that's how we were programmed actually when we were
Mm.
younger.
True,
And it
true.
did not change even during pandemic. I know marami namang mga enabler na sabi natin um, mga new learning, sabi natin new platforms. But
Yes.
we need to choose at least dun muna sa basic, no?
Yeah.
Sino ba ako? And then if it's I don't depend on the enablers for me to think about it or to even discover it.
Mm.
But when we see that there's a new approach for that, like this one, when they watch this, posible
Mm.
pala. So they begin to search, who am I? What's my identity? Kasi that's the one, those are the things that we need in a brand.
Mm.
Um, basic things like yung sinabi mo kanina, uniqueness, that's one.
Mm.
Number two, yung story ko, pwedeng isulat lang muna maski bullet points like ano yung challenges ko, ano yung
Yeah.
mga naging choices ko. So yun lang muna. And
Mm.
then, ano yung identity na nakita ko ng proven na hindi nag-sustain. So alam na natin na stop holding on to that identity kasi nagva-vary pala depending on whether I'm feeling good about it or not. And
Yes.
then search for truths about us. So that's
Mm.
first, no, identity muna until makita mo na that identity is making us confident because the
Mm.
wrong identity, wrong sabihin nating um, wrong labels that we carry or we identify
Yeah.
ourselves with will affect our confidence. It will affect our orientation of the one
Mm.
enabling us. Kasi ako noon, grabe, 4 P's ang aking enabler. Position, power, popularity, and profit. So you can just imagine pag nawawalang isa, feeling ko nawawala na rin ako. And there, yun muna. Ano yung source of confidence natin? Ano yung identity?
Okay.
So
Okay
somehow,
yung 4 piece, ah.
oo,
Tatandaan ko yun.
oo, position, possession, profit,
Nag-stuck sa akin.
popularity. Grabe 'yun, grabeng maka-enable din sa akin but not the sustainable way. It's really
Yes, yes.
tiring. And when I did that, I I was not aware I'm copying. I'm just copying a
Mm.
brand, not really my authentic brand.
Mm.
Authenticity is not a common commodity nowadays. It's
Yeah, that's
because
true.
hindi nga tayo na-program for that. So, yun muna, identity natin, source of confidence. Maski yung dalawa lang na muna, pero mas maganda pa rin kung ma-discover natin yung aside from who we are, is to
Mm.
whom do we belong para hindi rin tayo nakadepend sa attention ng iba, sa recognition. And I wanna again mention, no, when no one is too late for this kasi I felt before parang late bloomer ako when it comes to my spirituality. But when I understood that I actually belong to the Lord, hindi ko na sinasayang yung identity na yun. I wanted to take care of it dahil nakita ko rin na yun yung nagsusustain whenever I am consumed by the sabi nating temptation to create another persona that
Mm.
seems beautiful or ano pa, that seems to be in fad kasi minsan
Yeah,
fad
yeah.
yan or sabi
Oo.
nating overnight success but never really giving joy and peace. Kasi iba naman, okay naman magkaroon ng identity, but I don't think all types of identity will give us that joy and peace. And that's branding because we don't want to be carrying a brand that is not peaceful, no? Hindi tayo kumbaga wala tayong kaligayahan.
Joy.
Oo,
Yes.
kasi iba yung happiness, eh, iba yung trip-trip, iba yung joy. Because that joy will be the one that will create influence. Nakikita yan eh, hindi mo mafe-fake kasi yung authenticity, yung influence. Yung influence, maski sabihin nating low ka, high ka, naturally, sa
Yeah.
interview lalabas yan eh. Pero pag iki-create siya out of not the real you, you tend to
Mm.
memorize. Tatandaan mo anong intro ko, anong intro
Right.
ko, ano yung so it's really exhausting and stressful. So once you are inspired with yourself,
Mm.
you begin to understand that that identity is not for everyone. It's serving a specific audience na critical to sa branding. We need to identify your specific audience so that whenever you create, let's say, any content for your website, social media, it is
Mm.
speaking to them and not to everyone. That's that's where the power comes in. I used to just say this, let's say, in a networking activity. Networking meaning attend ka ng mga, sabi nating mga, yung katulad ng inattend niya, yung Asia CEO. Then
Yes, yes.
people get to ask you, what do you do?
Oo.
anything that you say, oh, I help individuals or I help everyone, clear ako na walang branding yon kasi hindi siya clear sa audience niya. But when
True.
you say I help specific people, like ako talaga, clear yan, entrepreneur, young professional, and executive. So
Mhm.
I create frameworks for them, I create
Yes.
content for them, and I search for their problem. Kasi yun yung
Mhm.
next level ng influence eh. Once you are clear with yourself, when you say clear, talagang clear na walang hinulaan, walang ginaya,
Correct, correct.
then you begin to confidently identify sinong matutulungan nitong clarity that I gain.
Mm.
Definitely, kung sino yung nakaka-encounter ng same problem that you were able to get out with,
Yes.
not by your own, but of course by God's grace, and for sure nagse-search yan. Example lang, simple as authentic image transformation. Let's say yun ang sinearch. So
Mm.
dahil clear ako na sila yung audience ko, yun din ang keywords ko sa mga
Yeah.
SEO ko, sa mga social media.
Oo.
What else do we need? Let's think that branding is a relationship.
Mhm.
Very important. That's why in a relationship, bawal ang malabo. 'Di ba? Pag malabo,
Yeah.
nag-aaway. Pag
Correct,
malabo, nagtatampuhan. So,
correct.
since relationship siya, the trust needs to be built. And when you want to earn trust, we need to be consistent. And that's how your branding also helps us. When we have clarity, you are consistent to everything, to what you want to talk about, ano pa, focused. Kasi kung wala namang clarity sa simula pa lang, what do you want? What will you focus on kung walang clarity? You will just depend on kung ano yung on fad, ano yung pinag-uusapan. What else? Pag may clarity ka and alam mo kung sino audience mo, you also have clarity anong direction mo when it comes to equipping yourself, like getting a
Yes.
mentor, course, anong mga certification ang kukunin natin. Kasi clear na clear ka kung sino yung gusto mong tulungan at kung sino ka
Mm.
rin. And eventually, mabilis nang i-craft how you want to be remembered. Diyan papasok yung ating powerful hashtag para sa bayan. Kasi you wanted to be remembered. Because, Nato, if we don't educate people with our branding, they will be
Yes.
the ones who will brand us. Mas dangerous yun kasi
Correct.
depende na yan sa impression nila and walang recall kasi iba-iba yung pagbabrand. But when, like me, I started saying the radiant influencer, wala namang ganong term, or
Oo.
sabihin nating extraordinary confidence, that's my curriculum. Wala rin ganong term, but we will see a lot of influencer term, we will see a lot of self-confidence term.
Yeah.
But because your brand is clear and then andun na yung passion to help the specific audience, you now begin to be bold, creative, authentic, and ito yung pinaka-importante, disciplined. You can just imagine if there's
Mm.
no clarity, anong ididiscipline mo, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Magi-give up ka pa iba. And
So,
that discipline leads to consistency, and the consistency leads to that term that you used,
yeah.
influence, no? Nakaka-influence na tayo because umaangat, consistent ka, naririnig. For example, ano
Yes.
nga yung sinabi niya? Sino nga ulit siya? Same statement ang sasabihin sa another interview. Same statement ang nararamdaman whoever is listening to you. And eventually, it develops to that, sabihin nating legacy, na
Yeah.
maski wala ka ng sinasabi, they continue talking about you.
Yeah, at the end of the day, no, parang siyempre tayo parang ang old, hindi naman old school, but we learned branding and marketing from the commercial, kumbaga sa commercial entities or sa corporate, no. So, pero come to think of it, you were talking about relationship, trust building. Di ba even for corporate brands like whatever, telco or whatever industry, very important yung trust and yung relationship. Kaya nga nabuo, di ba, yung word na delighting the customer. For
Hindi
brands
na
na,
nga siya
for brands,
service, delight na
hindi
siya
na siya.
ngayon, 'di ba? Customer delight,
So,
yeah.
parang I'm learning so much kasi like I've also been working with ano lang, secretly lang. Of course, dun sa
Exposed.
family business consulting, it's really marami ring trainings, marami ding,
Yeah.
because families in business usually run their business. Yun yung problema. There's a difference between the family and the business. Sometimes there's no difference. So malaking ano rin yun, issue din yun. But what I'm learning now, and I think what the audience is learning right now, is it's really ano na yung sinabi mong trust and relationship, parang napakahalaga nun eh. Kasi
True. Mm.
relationship, when you don't say when there is no clarity, una vague lahat ng terms nyo. O wala tayong
Mm.
label ah. Ng
Oo,
mga parang,
totoo, totoo. Parang
ng mga
ano
bata
ba
ngayon,
tayo, 'di ba?
walang label ah. So walang clear, di ba?
Walang label,
So,
yeah.
there is no I can have other relationships. I can have kumbaga kung ganun ako. I mean if you put it sa mga bata now no sa generation natin sa younger generation, there's no clarity, there's no obligation, there's no trust, and you can actually do anything you want and you're free, and there's no discipline. Di ba? At the
Yeah.
end of the day, that those are so many important things that we need to learn. Ang
Yes, and
bilis-bilis. Yeah.
yung trust
Diba?
kasi, why do people trust us?
Yes.
Because you gained also their confidence to trust your leadership or your influence. And
Mm.
another why, no, why did they gain confidence towards your influence and leadership is because you have a solution to their problem. So you can just imagine kung malabo, ano din yung solution natin. No? We're not even
Right.
clear kung sino yung tinutulungan natin or anong problema. So
Oh.
everything in branding is about clarity, focus, and direct, no? Hindi siya yung, for example, so what do you do as a business? Basically, everything. Lahat ng gusto mong itulong ko, matutulong ko. And they will not remember that. Pero pag sinabi
Yeah.
mong, let's say, nag-networking, no?
Mm.
So, Miss Tony, what do you do when it comes to leadership development? What do you do, no? Well, I
Mm.
have three words na lagi ko sinasabi: holistic, transformative, and gospel-rooted. So, I'm very clear kung ano yung
Mm.
direction ng aking mga curriculum. So, maski sabihin nating biglang, so hindi yan work ethics and professionalism or hindi yan wave. Sabi ko, well, wave has transformation, right? Wave has
Yeah.
holistic, ano, then I do also wave. Ano pa, I do
Mm.
also team building, but I'm just very clear that my framework, whatever terms we
Yung
have, that
influence.
blueprint or system goes around those three transformative. So my
Oh.
goal is every time I speak and teach, yun yung output. Kasi we need to be speaking about results when it
Yeah.
comes to branding. Otherwise, anong trust ang bibigay nila kung hindi nga nila alam or hindi man lang
Outcomes.
ma-envision, 'di ba? Wala
Yes.
man lang kumbaga sa proposal is yung we call it objectives or learning outcome. Pag
Right.
sinabing, so okay, I'm gonna pay you, ano nga ulit yung result nito or yung outcome?
Mm.
Kung anong gusto mo gagawin ko, ang labo nun, 'di ba? Pero kung clear na clear ka, aangat ka agad or makikita agad yung difference mo from others who are also pitching their training
Yeah.
materials as well as proposal.
Parang yun yung value, yung unique value proposition mo at the same
Yes, or
time. It's
differentiation pillar, yan.
differentiation. Oo.
Mm.
So, anyway, napakaiksi ng panahon, no? I thought, sabi
Oo
ko,
nga.
1 hour, marami kami mapag-uusapan. Pero hindi, no?
Oo, kulang
It's,
lagi,
it's so
yeah.
short, so it's kulang. But siguro, I'd like to go back to the one you mentioned, na gospel-rooted, no? Um, of course, a lot of people are watching us, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, even from the globe. And not all the frameworks are gospel rooted, but tell us why you specifically from among the many kumaga choices of people in terms of branding and motivation. Um, Not because it's Holy Week, but
Oh,
but
yes.
because I just no, not because it's Holy Week, but because I really want to know, uh, and for our audience to know why it has to be gospel rooted.
Okay.
Siguro that's a
Um,
differentiator. Please tell us. Yeah.
yes. Um, People wants to, I believe everyone wants to improve themselves. We call it self-development. And we even go to a higher level, which is self-mastery. And
Mm.
eventually, the last is kung ano yung gusto natin, professional development, business development. And we need power to do that. Okay, we
Yeah.
need power to do that. And why gospel rooted? The gospel has actually broken or has actually kumaga given breakthrough
Mm.
to the deception that we know that we are the
Mm.
ones who are powerful, and it
Mm.
breaks our heart whenever we don't reach the fruition of the supposed power.
Yes.
And that was how I was before. I get disappointed. I forgot, and I wasn't aware that I am limited. Yun alam mo
Mm.
na, I wasn't aware that
Yes.
I am limited. It's the world that declares the I am statement na
Mm.
natututunan natin yan everywhere, no?
Yeah.
We can say that every time, we can say that every day, yung mga sinasabi natin, ay everyday, yung mga declaration, but is there really power in that I am statement? I am wonderful, I am successful. And the Bible and the gospel specifically taught me that I am limited because I cannot even save myself. So you
Mm.
can just imagine how many um, framework are based on I am powerful. Eh may
Mm.
limit nga tayo. But
Yung mga
once we acknowledge,
affirmations.
yeah, once we acknowledge the affirmation that I am saved. I am powerful only by God's grace,
Mm.
only after I surrender to Jesus as my Lord and Savior. Then we understand that humility is needed. Yun kasi ang nangyayari sa atin pride, right?
Yeah.
But when we learn how to be humble, that ito yung limit ko, we actually learn to rest as well. Yun ang wala
Mhm. Yes.
work. I'll do this hanggang maging successful. Hindi kasi yun yung nakikita ko before.
Mm.
But when I discovered the gospel rooted or at least the gospel, I realized the real beauty na pwede magpahinga, no? Pwede
Mm.
magpahinga
Mm.
and then just work within what I can control. And
Mm.
since business is about goal setting, and puro future, di ba? Goal
Yes.
setting, ano
Yes.
pa. Nakakalimutan ng mga business people to enjoy the now. Yung now, yung ngayon.
Consent.
Yung moment, including the challenges, the small wins, sayang. Bakit? Kasi
Yes.
yun din yung gagamitin naman for tomorrow. So, the gospel rooted for sales, the gospel rooted principle for management, ano pa,
Mm.
the gospel rooted for that, finding
Yeah.
yourself, clarity, authenticity, makes you embrace the real design. Ang real design natin, limited. We are also built for a relationship with the Lord and others.
Mm.
So, mawawala, no? Mawawala yung mga extra na ginagawa natin that is not according to that design. Um, when I learn how to rest, when I say rest,
Mm.
example, Sunday, ano pa, yung gabi na meron pa palang tomorrow,
Mm.
mas nakikita ko yung magic ng mga moment ng puwede palang umupo, okey, puwede palang
Yes.
mag-trust. Kasi mahirap mag-trust kapag hindi mo na-e-enjoy yung now, kasi laging
Mm.
future. So, only when I learned to trust the Lord that it is within His control and not mine, it is His power, not mine.
Mm.
Dun actually Nato lumabas yung boldness.
Yeah.
Yung boldness na, um, first, the boldness to be honest. I don't wanna teach anything that I did not experience.
Right.
Mahirap maging overnight expert, pero nakaka-bother sa heart yung dine-deceive mo yung audience. Ano pa, I will not teach leadership kung hindi ako naging leader. Otherwise,
Right.
I'll drop it, 'di ba? Kasi mahirap na you cover a certain expertise or a field na 'pag sinabi, "So how did you feel when you were doing that?" You can just
Mm.
imagine you lying in front of them sabi,
Mm.
"Yeah, it was wonderful, but it's
Yeah.
just words from the air." So, but the gospel will prevent you to compromise truth.
Mm.
The gospel will help you respect yourself and others, and the
Mm.
gospel will eventually, no, make you not give up hanggang hindi nila natututunan yung availability ng love. Kasi nangyari yung love, hinihintay natin sa audience, ano pa,
Mm.
sa colleague, sa
Mm.
family member, sa office mate.
Mm.
What if hindi siya available? Are we gonna give up our brand? Are we gonna give up the talent that was given to us?
Mm.
That love kasi teaches us how to be a good steward too, na hindi ko sasayangin itong katawan ko, yung health ko, hindi ko
Right.
sasayangin yung talino ko, ano pa, yung pati yung naging problema ko, hindi ko sasayangin kasi na ngayon na may solusyon na ako, 'di ba ganun tayo, the
Yes.
comfort that we receive
Mm.
needs to be written, needs to be taught kasi hinahanap naman siya ng iba as a solution. So,
Yeah.
the gospel rooted may not be famous, but for me, it's important. I just have to be available for those who needed it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Tony. I think it's revolutionary. I mean, people should also
Revolutionary.
understand that, I mean, at the end of the day, tama yun, we're limited, and grace is very important kasi 'di ba people teach us about karma. Sabi nila, ang karma kasi what you receive, at hindi to biblical eh.
Yeah.
Ibig sabihin, it's a
Yeah.
different
I
framework.
know. I
Sa
understand
karma,
that.
kung anong ginawa mo, yun din babalik sa'yo. Sa grace, baliktad.
Um,
Yung hindi mo kayang gawin, kayang ibigay sa'yo without you
yeah.
even lifting a finger, no? I mean, that's
Mm.
the
And it's
principle
free,
talaga.
'di ba? It's
And
free
it's
and
free.
available. Sayang hindi
Yeah.
na-a-avail. There's one thing Nato na
Yeah.
na the gospel rooted helped me also.
Oo.
Yung um many people are into coping mechanism, and
Yes.
sometimes the coping mechanism becomes their, sabi nating, direction.
Right.
It's just that sometimes ang layo na niya sa original design. And
Correct.
sayang yung talent ng isang tao, like 'di ba, you've mentioned some tools like yung mga strengths nila, kung hindi na-unleash your potential just because napagod siya.
Yeah.
Napagod siya. And ano pa, just because akala niya failure. Eh, yung failure ngayon because of the gospel, we will now embrace it kasi nga alam na lang natin na yes, we will fail, but there's nothing that God cannot handle. You can just imagine the power it gives you every day when you see na, let's say, wow, hindi umalis yung major client ko. Okay, but I believe the Lord is just teaching me something, like maybe I need to prepare next time to be
Yeah.
better next time. And na-experience ko yan Nato, just to share and give encouragement to others. Na-experience
Mm.
ko siya na pandemic wherein I can no longer afford yung mga social media team and so on.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, the Lord really showed me that He is the best chief marketing officer. So
Oh,
hindi ko na malaman sa nanggagaling yung mga bookings and everything. I just believe that it was Him connecting me to different association, company. And when I allowed Him to take over, mas
oo.
pa siya, worldwide, 'di ba? Mga bookings, hindi lang Philippines.
Wow.
Pero bakit? Kasi
Mm.
I believe hindi ko siya dine-deny kasi
Right.
yung that I'm not ashamed to be associated with the Lord.
Amen. Ayun, no? So,
Amen. Yeah.
anyway, thank you very much, Tony. It was very enlightening for me. I've attended so many, maybe hundreds of trainings, and maybe facilitated a few a few myself, and the framework is really different. I think it's very revolutionary that is to deny ourselves kasi we're limited. We can only do so much, no? And the pride that comes with pretending and stuff like that. Anyway, nako, thank you very much, Tony. I
My
hope we can
pleasure.
have you again, maybe another 3 or 4 hours kasi kulang na kulang talaga. Ariza, thank you for joining us
Thank
also.
you,
I hope
Arizza. Yeah.
next time, we can have, because she really asks really great questions, no? So anyway, Tony, thank you for joining us here on hashtag para sa bayan here on TNC. We hope to have you back again, and yeah, please, God bless you and God bless our audience everywhere. Um, Thank you, and I hope you were enlightened by tonight's episode. So that's all for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Good night and God bless you. See you back next Saturday.